This now. So let's talk about where the race is, because battleground states, the polls seem to have been narrowing. Let's put it up here. Arizona, Trump still leads, though one poll has got Harris up by 2. Same thing in Nevada. Wisconsin, Trump holds a very narrow lead. Michigan, Trump is ahead, but Harris is up 11 in one new poll, which I think might be an outlier. Trump continues to lead in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. He's still got the advantage, Carl, but she's gaining momentum. There's no question.
So I fully expect that the momentum she has is going to carry her through, unless it's a disastrous vice presidential choice. This momentum is going to leave her in the lead at the end of the Democratic convention.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Vice President Kamala Harris is a once-in-a-generation candidate, and this is a once-in-a-generation moment for America. The choice is clear. Will we choose truth or lies? Will we choose hope or hate? Will we choose the future or be doomed to repeat the past? If I told you those words were from an opinion piece on Fox News, would you believe me or ask what I was smoking / pass it this way? Well, it's true, and no wonder it has the Trump camp in disarray.
She has to answer questions. I also think Donald Trump should debate her on a debate stage. He's waffling on that. He should get on that debate stage and debate her.
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. So I will say Kamala has reset the entire race. Look at the polls. She is back where any typical sort of Democrat would be. Democrats knew we were going to lose with Joe Biden, and she has coalesced the party, and she has brought in enthusiasm. And the last thing I'll say, Dukakis wasn't running against Donald Trump. And Kamala, for all of her past questions with her presidential campaign, she's running as a happy warrior. She's out there making the case for a positive view of America. You might disagree with it, but she's out there with enthusiasm, and Trump is out there with a lot of anger, divisiveness, bitterness. Those two comparisons, the American people are going to pick hope every single time.
It's been an interesting start to the week on the Murdoch News Network, from host Neil Cavuto dropping some much needed context to the stock market, which of course the Republican frontrunner is celebrating, proving that he is the most unpatriotic man in America. Because as he's admitted before, he wants Americans to suffer as long as it benefits him.
You know, Mike, I know, and you do not politicize these things, but the Donald Trump thing in the market amazes me. When they're up, it's all because of him and looking forward to him. When they're down, it's all because the Democrats and how horrific they are. Yet some of our biggest point fall offs, 3 of the biggest of the top 10, occurred during his administration. Now, a lot of those were in the COVID years. I get that. But, you either own the markets or you don't. It does confuse me, but thank you.
Here he wants to see the stock market crash because he does not want it now. We're doing well. He acknowledging by that we're doing pretty damn well economically and getting better. He wants to see the stock market crash. You know why? He doesn't want to be the next Herbert Hoover. As I told him, he's already Hoover.
To them giving more airtime to, sane voices who care about facts over fiction.
Robert, you cover the economy as well. If we're headed for a recession, how difficult could this be for Kamala Harris?
Yeah, I'd love to debate both you guys on the economy. GDP's higher, jobs is higher, wages is higher. The stock market's up huge under Biden. This idea of what you guys are talking about, there's more 2,000-day losses under President Trump than 500-day losses under Joe Biden. We should get the facts right on where the economy is. Bill, you do a great job on that. But we know that Friday was, if not for the outstanding 15 million plus jobs of the Biden-Harris campaign over the last 3.5 years, 140,000 less plus is normal jobs. There's not going to be a recession. I actually think that there's a possibility that we're going to have the August numbers look incredibly strong.
Well, a lot of those were COVID jobs coming back. We know that. But listen, the markets were spooked at the end of last week based on that job.
Well, and you know
the markets
too.
were spooked.
But amidst all of that, I wasn't expecting a full opinion piece outlining the stark differences between both candidates. In an article titled "Kamala Harris is a once-in-a-generation candidate and this is a once-in-a-generation moment" by Antoine Seawright, the focus was very much on the future forecast of a Harris presidency compared to the medieval outlook of the former president, which, as we know, has helped coin one of the best campaign slogans in modern American politics.
And we are not going back. because ours is a fight for the future.
And the reason this is ironic, right, is all this comes up after Trump retreated to Fox News for back-to-back interviews where he was lobbed softball after softball, but still somehow managed to come off even more incoherent and afraid in regards to debating the current vice president.
I want to do a debate, but I also can say this. Everybody knows who I am, and now people know who she is. She's a radical left lunatic. She'll destroy our country. She wants open borders.
Then why not debate her?
Well, wait. But because they already know everything.
One of the issues that
only after backing out of the debate he already agreed to, though, right?
Somehow today he has an issue with doing it with ABC.
Right, but he didn't when he agreed to it in the first place, right? I think the interesting thing about this is what changed from when he said he was ready to do an ABC debate and when he now says he's not. ABC didn't change. Donald Trump didn't change. But there's a new candidate, and clearly he hesitates to debate her on the exact same terms that he thought
so you think
would
he's
be okay.
Scared to debate her?
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
Because I think she is going to be so effective, and she's going to lay bare his inability to talk about anything but himself and his past. I think what you'll see is two things that I'm excited for Americans to see. Yes, the contrast, the way, as she laid out very powerfully, she, as a prosecutor who has defended people from people like Donald Trump, is going to remind everybody about that record, but also a contrast in governing records. She's going to be, I think, very effective in reminding Americans that on issue after issue, they already agree with us. They already agree with her and Democrats.
Mr. Anytime, Anyplace has now gone back on his word and instead wants the already scheduled debate to take place on Fox News, to which, according to an article in the New Republic, Trump supporters are furious over, lamenting him a coward over this decision. And if Fox News continue to trend away from their resting state of completely unhinged diatribe.
Look, I think Kamala Harris is exactly what Donald Trump is afraid of. Look, he's been talking about all of these issues on the border. She went down to South America, Central America, to try to help from the root of the problem, not the symptoms. If Donald Trump cared about the border, he wouldn't have blocked policies to change it.
We're going to move on.
Trump continues to lead in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. He's still got the advantage, Carl, but she's gaining momentum. There's no question.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you look at it, remember, better to look at an average of polls, and we just don't have a lot of battleground state polls since all these things began to shift. Take a look at the national number, though, and you get a sense of this. Remember, before the first debate with Biden and Trump, Trump was leading by close to 3 points or above 3 points, depending on when you looked at it. Trump today in the Real Clear Politics average is leading by 1.2%, 1.2 points. There's an outlier in there, the poll that gives him a 5-point lead. Without that outlier, he's leading by less than 1%, 0.8. In fact, if you look at it, there were 5 polls in the Real Clear Politics average that occurred before the 25th of July. Trump leads in all 5 of those. Of the 5 polls that have been held since the 26th of July, he leads in only 2. She leads in 3. So I fully expect that the momentum she has is going to carry her through, unless it's a disastrous vice presidential choice. This momentum is going to leave her in the lead at the end of the Democratic convention.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Captain Bonespurs wants to move the debate again. Well, perhaps to Newsmax this time, with Alex Jones moderating. Would that make you feel better, Donnie?
First, to both of you on this debate back and forth. Alex, Trump is changing the rule. I mean, Trump says the Democrats changed the conditions because, of course, they brought a new candidate. He did agree to ABC. Now he's saying, totally different race. I want Fox and I want an audience here. Is he going to win that argument?
I think he is. I mean, look, to be fair, it was a completely different candidate. If President Biden wants to keep that first debate, I think that's fine. I think it's completely acceptable and, frankly, deserved for that to be a new conversation.
Okay, your response, Maria?
I think it shows that he's terrified of debating somebody as good as Kamala Harris. I think it shows that he wants to do it on Fox. He wants to do it with an audience because those two things are like security blankets for him. And that's what he needs right now. This race has completely discombobulated him and the people around him. They have no idea how to approach running against somebody who is so accomplished, who is whip smart, who has a background as a prosecutor, and Donald Trump is a 34 times convicted felon.
Damn!
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the Midas Touch newsletter at MidasTouch.com/newsletter.